The laughter started the day the wooden posts went up, sharp and careless, floating across the open yards like winter wind. People stopped on their porches, leaned against pickup trucks, and shook their heads as they watched her work alone. A shed around a house, they said, was the strangest thing they had ever seen. It looked foolish, unnecessary, even desperate. But Sarah Whitmore kept building anyway, her hands stiff from cold, her back aching, her eyes fixed on something none of them could see yet. Before the story goes any further, pause for a moment. If you believe in silent heroes, in second chances, and in people who keep going even when they're laughed at, please like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this survive because people like you believe they matter. Sarah lived in a small rural town in the United States where everyone knew each other's business, or at least thought they did. Her house was old, built decades ago by her late husband, a modest place with thin walls and a roof that complained loudly in the rain. After he passed from a sudden heart condition, the house became both her shelter and her burden. Heating it through winter was a constant battle. Firewood was her only affordable option, but every year the same problem returned. Snow soaked the stacked logs, rain turned them heavy and useless, and half the winter was spent trying to dry what should have been ready to burn. Cold crept into her bones, and nights felt longer than they should have. Sarah was not uneducated or reckless. She was observant. She paid attention to patterns, to how water traveled, how wind shifted snow, how moisture ruined even the best-cut wood. She prayed quietly, asking for wisdom rather than rescue. And one autumn morning, while standing in the yard staring at yet another ruined woodpile, an idea took shape in her mind. Instead of building a separate shed far away, what if she built protection directly around the house, a simple structure that wrapped around the walls, shielding the firewood from rain and snow while trapping a bit of warmth from the house itself? It was not a design anyone in town had seen before. That was part of the problem. When Sarah started gathering scrap lumber and measuring perimeter, the neighbors noticed. At first, they were curious. Then came the jokes. People said she was wasting what little money she had left. They said it looked ugly, that it would never work, that she should just move away or accept help instead of embarrassing herself. Some laughed openly, others whispered. Sarah heard it all. She always did. But she had learned that ridicule often comes when people cannot understand persistence. She worked slowly, methodically, often stopping to warm her hands inside or catch her breath. Her body was no longer young, and grief still lived quietly inside her chest. There were days she questioned herself, especially when a board warped or a nail bent wrong. There were nights she lay awake listening to the wind, wondering if she was building a monument to foolish hope. But every morning she rose again, pulled on her coat, and continued. Faith, she believed, was not loud. It was steady. As the structure grew, the laughter grew louder. Children pointed. Adults offered unsolicited advice wrapped in sarcasm. The shed began to look like a wooden collar around the house, open on the inside, slanted outward to guide water away. Sarah stacked her firewood neatly between the shed wall and the house, leaving just enough space for air to circulate. She tested drainage paths, adjusted angles, fixed mistakes. She treated the project like a prayer made of wood and nails. By late fall, the first snow came early and heavy. The town prepared as it always did, confident in routine. Sarah watched the flakes fall with quiet tension. This was the moment of truth. If she was wrong, she would face not only humiliation, but another winter of cold rooms and damp fires. The neighbors waited too, some amused, some indifferent, a few secretly hoping she would fail, so the world would make sense again. The storm lasted 3 days. Snow piled high, winds howled, and temperatures dropped hard. When it finally passed, Sarah stepped outside, heart pounding. She brushed snow from the shed roof and checked the wood. It was dry, perfectly dry. No soaked ends, no frozen layers. The structure had done exactly what she believed it would. For the first time in years, she carried firewood inside without dread. The fire caught quickly, warmly, filling the house with steady heat instead of smoke and frustration. Winter deepened, and with it came more storms. Freezing rain, heavy snow, long nights. And still the fire would stay dry. Word spread slowly, the way truth often does. One neighbor noticed smoke rising steadily from Sarah's chimney day after day. Another noticed she was not asking for extra wood or complaining about the cold. Curiosity replaced mockery. People began to look more closely, to ask questions they had once laughed too hard to consider. Sarah did not boast. She simply explained what she had done when asked, sharing measurements, costs, and mistakes with quiet honesty. She admitted her fear, her doubts, her moments of exhaustion. And something unexpected happened. The laughter faded. Respect took its place. A few neighbors even asked for help designing similar structures. Sarah helped where she could, not out of pride, but out of understanding. She knew what it felt like to be cold in more ways than one. The shed did more than protect firewood. It protected Sarah. It reduced drafts, blocked harsh winds, and created a small buffer of warmth around the house. Heating costs dropped. Comfort increased. The house felt alive again. And with that physical warmth came something deeper. Confidence. Validation. A reminder that being alone did not mean being wrong. If this story is touching something inside you, if it reminds you of a time you were doubted for trying something different, please take a moment now, like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and let others know that perseverance matters. As spring finally arrived, melting snow revealed more than just grass. It revealed changed attitudes. Neighbors waved differently. Conversations softened. Some apologized without words. Sarah accepted it all with grace. She knew people often laugh because it is easier than admitting fear of the unknown. She forgave because bitterness would only make the cold return in another form. Years later, the shed remained, weathered but strong, a quiet landmark of resilience. New families moved into town and heard the story secondhand. It became less about the structure and more about the woman who built it when no one believed she should. Sarah continued living simply, faithfully, her home warm, her heart steadier than it had been in a long time. Just before the story ends, please leave a comment below and share what part of Sarah's journey spoke to you the most. Your words may encourage someone who is being laughed at today for building something the world does not yet understand. Because sometimes the things that look foolish at first are the very things that carry us to the hardest winters. And sometimes quiet faith wrapped in patience is enough to keep the fire burning when everything else grows cold.